They told her to pour coffee and keep quiet. Then the general saw her Navy SEAL ring. What he said next dragged Maya Stone back into a world of secrets, a broken watch, an empty wallet, and a dusty road she swore she'd never walk again. Stay and hear why. The tray shook, but only a little. Maya Stone held it steady with the kind of grip you learn when failure isn't an option. Steam rose from white cups, sugar in chrome bowls, tongs that clicked like small handcuffs. She had been told to keep her head down, smile, refill, forget. The boardroom was cold on purpose. A chill makes people agree faster. It keeps the blood from fighting decisions. She knew that trick. She had used it in other rooms. Not like this. Not with linen and pastries. Her empty wallet pressed against her hip like a bruise. It held a bus card, 2 coins, and a photo edge she refused to pull free. Rent was late. Shoes were thin. Coffee was hot. More over here. A colonel waved without looking. She moved, refilled, stepped back. Invisible. The suits argued over a map on the screen, a grid of beige and bones. They spoke about it like weather. Maya didn't look up. She listened. Always listen. Low light insertion. Local assets unreliable. Fast rope to east wall. She breathed through her teeth. The words were familiar. The pattern was worse. Someone in the room was trying to buy a solution with hope. Her wrist brushed a cup. The coffee kissed her skin. She didn't flinch. The broken watch on her other wrist didn't tick. Hadn't ticked since Kandahar bled into morning. She wore it anyway. A stop to the day she stopped being who she was. She drifted, collecting envy with the empty cups. One of the men said the word that salted the air. Seal, not the animal. Capitalized in his mouth, spit like a problem. Maya wiped the table edge. Her sleeve slid back an inch. The ring caught the light. Brass gone soft at the corners. An old trident in a simple band. Not regulation? Not official. Something you buy after a funeral when you can't find words. The room kept buzzing until it didn't. A general at the far end lifted his head. He had river gray eyes and a face built by hard choices. He watched the ring, not the cloth. Where did you get that? He asked, voice calm as a hammer. Maya looked at the cup she was wiping. She could say online. She could say gift. But he had the eyes that know lies by their temperature. She said nothing. He stood. The room followed him like tide. When men like that stand, chairs feel ashamed for being furniture. Miss, he said, step outside with me. She set the cloth down. Her wallet bumped her hip again. The broken watch didn't tick. Her feet were steady. He opened the door. A corridor waited like a throat. They stepped through. And behind her, someone locked the boardroom from the inside. On the glass, she saw the reflection of a man reaching for a folder with her name. She had never sent a resume here. She had never told anyone. She turned to the general. He already knew. Your name is Maya Stone, isn't it? The corridor lights flickered once, like a camera taking a shot she couldn't dodge. They stood in a utility hallway that smelled like cold metal and overworked air. The general didn't rush. Predators never do. Maya Stone, he said again, letting the syllables weigh down the space. He didn't ask. He named. She kept her face still, her words small. I pour coffee. Not for long, he handed her a card. No logo, no rank. Just a number and a name. Halden. The edges were worn like a coin someone worries at a funeral. Walk with me. He moved. She could leave. She didn't. Some roads pull you by the ribs. They passed display cases filled with framed photos, ribbons, smiles, shadows behind smiles. Her empty wallet rubbed like a reminder of rules. Bills don't wait for nightmares to end. But this wasn't about rent. She felt it in her knee where the cold lived. You're out, he said. 18 months. 2 years, she lied. He didn't correct her. I need a clean set of eyes on a plan, he said. The team on that screen will die the way it's written. You know it. I know it, she said nothing. He let the silence count. In the boardroom, he said. You listened like someone who's carried a radio in a storm. He watched for the flinch. It didn't come. She gave him nothing. Except breathing. They stopped beside a photo near the end of the hall. A handshake. A smiling contractor with expensive teeth. The plaque read Lodestar Dynamics, Partnership Day. The smiling man's face brushed a memory like sandpaper. She had seen that jawline once. On a screen. Night vision green. Coordinates burned into her retinas. A voice said, Trust us, the gate's open. It hadn't been. General Halden studied her profile, not the photo. I want you in a room tomorrow at 9, Pentagon. You'll sit. You'll read. He'll tell me what's real. Her broken watch pressed into her wrist bone as if trying to keep her anchored. It's not me anymore, she said. That ring says otherwise. This ring, she said, belongs to ghosts. And ghosts, he said softly, hate waste. Her phone buzzed. A number she didn't know. A text with a single word. Kite. And a location pin that marked a diner 2 bus lines away where the coffee is burnt and the windows never stop fogging. Halden didn't look at the phone, but he saw it. Men like him always see what you see. He lowered his voice. Come tomorrow, he said. Or don't, but tonight stay out of Lodestar's shadow. It eats people. She could have walked away. She could have gone back to the tray, the cups, the tiny tips that folded like apologies. Instead, she asked, Why me? He nodded at the broken watch. Because you remember the exact second everything changed. She looked past him at the photo of the smiling contractor. His eyes were bright. His hands were clean. His smile was a locked door. In the glass reflection, the boardroom door behind them opened a crack. A man in a suit held a folder with her name printed in neat black letters. She had never sent a resume here. She had never told anyone. Someone was doing her inventory without permission. Maya slid the empty wallet deeper into her pocket and took the card. Tomorrow at 9, she said. Halden gave a small nod. He stepped back into the boardroom. The man with her folder didn't smile. He tapped the paper against his palm like a metronome, and as she turned to go, the display case glass whispered back a question she didn't want answered. Why is your dead team's call sign printed on that folder tab? The Pentagon hums like a hive. Even the quiet is loud. Maya's badge printer stuttered and spit a temporary pass. A guard checked the veins in her hand with a machine that smelled like static. Halden waited outside a door with no windows. He didn't shake her hand. He didn't have to. They had already traded a kind of currency. Inside, the air was colder than the boardroom. A table, a stack of binders, a screen with a map that looked like an old wound. Silver Gate, Halden said. The title card burned white in the corner. Proposed by Lodestar. Approved in principle by impatient people. She sat. She opened the top binder. The paper felt damp with urgency. 12 operators. 2 birds. 3 minutes from touch to lift. Local asset named Kite to mark the door with chalk kite. She turned a page. The chalk color didn't match the wall tone they'd picked. It would flash under NVG like a cheap trick. She made a note. Her pen moved. Her breathing stayed slow. The broken watch watched her not look at it. A young captain slid a coffee toward her. He had new scars and old manners. I read your name once, he said, voice respectful. In a place where names don't get written. She gave him a look that said, don't. He didn't. Maya kept reading. Cross-corridor lanes were dirty. The timing assumed weather that never exists when you ask for it. The escape route crossed a market at dawn. That market sells goats and secrets. It never sleeps. She sketched a new path with her pen. She tightened the timeline. She loosened the pride. Halden watched her with a patience older than his years. What do you see? He asked. Patterns that rhyme with funerals, she said. The captain swallowed. She wrote a page of recommendations. Add a second asset who doesn't know the first. Change the chalk to a pigment that lies back under green. Delay insertion until the call to prayer covers the helos. Lock the alternates. Pay the weather a bribe by assuming it hates you. Halden nodded. Put it in. The door opened. A man in a Lodestar suit walked in like he owned the floor. Teeth, cufflinks, a watch that told other people's time. Ms. Stone, he said as if he had rehearsed her name in a mirror. I'm Ethan Parr. Appreciate you taking an interest in our work. She didn't stand. Men like him are used to elevation. Don't give them stairs. Your plan kills people, she said. He smiled. If we let fear write our doctrine, we'd never... Fear didn't write this, she said. Laziness did. Halden didn't stop her. The captain looked like he wanted to. Parr's smile hardened. He leaned on the table. Careful, he said softly. We all have histories. Her empty wallet pressed her hip again. He had done his homework. Debt, rooms, silence. She held his gaze. We do, she said. Some of us learn from them. He stood. He clicked his pen closed like a threat. We'll take your notes under advisement. He left Cologne and a promise behind him. Maya returned to the binder. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number again. A photo loaded. Her niece, blue backpack, smiling in front of a school door. Timestamp now. Caption, "Stay in your lane." The broken watch dug into her wrist like a small knife. She swallowed the taste of tin from a memory she didn't invite. She stood. Halden saw the photo over her shoulder. His jaw tightened. "I can move a car," he said. "2 men, now." She shook her head. "No, sir. I know another lane." She put her notes on the table. She slid the badge across the wood. "Use the recommendations," she said. "Whether I come back or not." The captain rose. "Ma'am, keep the birds low and the lies lower." She walked out into the corridor. The air felt like a locker. Her steps found the exit by muscle memory. Outside, the day had no color. The road beyond the fence wore a film of dust. She started toward a bus stop. A black sedan rolled up to the curb and matched her pace like a shark does a swimmer. She didn't look at the sedan. Looking makes it a conversation. She kept moving. 1 block, 2, then the car braked. A window whispered down. No face showed. A voice was soft. "Trespass hurts families, Mrs. Stone." She didn't answer. She turned down a side street where the light was mean. The car idled, then crawled away. Threat delivered. Message read, Maya checked the bus schedule. There was no bus. Just a pole with peeled stickers and a map you could use to cut glass. She took inventory. Cash, 2 coins. Miles to her sister's place, too many. Shoes. Honest but tired. She started walking. The city fell away in pieces. Glass to brick. Brick to chain link to pale weeds that can drink heat and not complain. The road remembered dust. So did she. A ridge in Afghanistan. Footpath nameless on any map. Dust that rose in small ghosts when boots stepped wrong. Her knee barked. She didn't listen. She kept moving. Her sister's house sat small against a sky that pressed your head down. She didn't knock. She used their childhood tap on the frame. 2 short. 1 long silence. Then the chain slid back. Maria was all worry and arms. The kids' laughter died when they saw Maya's face bending into work lines. "What's wrong?" "Trip," Maya said. "Short one. You'll like the hotel. It's underground," Maria didn't argue. She had done that once and learned better. In the bedroom, Maya took down the old shoebox where real things lived. Birth certificates. A green marble that holds a whole ocean if you put it to the light. Cash for the landlord's bad mood. The empty wallet opened like a mouth. She slid the shoebox money inside. It didn't change the weight much. In the hallway mirror, a woman looked back who could pass for a server on a slow shift. It was always easier when she looked small. "Where?" Maria asked. "The shelter near the park." "Take the kids. Eat their bad noodles. Watch the door. And you?" "I have to talk to a bird." "A what?" "Kite." Maria didn't ask again. She gathered her babies in their backpacks. Maya hugged them so fast it hurt. When the door shut, the room felt bigger and wrong. She reached into her bag for chapstick and hit something hard wrapped in tape. The broken watch. She turned it over. The backplate was scratched by a tiny flathead from another life. She realized the scratches were not random. They were letters. Read backward. On purpose. Like a mirror message on a barracks window. She lifted the plate. Behind it, thin paper folded like a secret. A set of coordinates. And a name. Kite. She held the watch like a locket. The second hand was a sword that never moved. The diner on the map sat next to a gravel lot that used to be a garden. Truckers came to practice silence. A waitress with tired shoulders poured coffee the color of decisions. Kite waited in a booth under a neon sign that hummed like a mosquito. He was smaller than his voice had been 2 years ago. He wore a ball cap that could pass as an apology. "You came fast," he said. "You sent my niece fast," she said. His eyes flicked, guilty. "That wasn't me. That was them." "Which them?" He glanced at the window. "Don't say names." "They buy names. Keep the nouns poor." "Lodestar," she said anyway. He flinched. "Not just. There's a gatekeeper in uniform. He signs the blank pages. They draw what they want. Proof." Kite slid a USB drive across the table. "Wire transfers. False sit reps. A playbook. They write a threat, then sell the shield." She didn't touch the drive yet. It could be a lure. Could be nothing. Could be the only chance to cut the right artery. "What's Silvergate?" she asked. "A budget farm. They plant fear." Harvest contracts, and the neon above them buzzed harder. Heads turned without turning. The waitress poured more coffee nobody drank. Kite licked his lips. They know you're in it now. You need to move. I can't. The front door opened. A black SUV's shape filled the glass like a bruise sliding across a rib. Kite's hand moved under the table. He slid the drive into her empty wallet. Don't stop walking, he said. The window exploded inward like breath. The sound was both distant and inside her bones. Kite's cap flew. He slumped in perfect slow motion. Maya was already moving. She left cash she didn't have on the Formica. She left blood on the floor that wasn't hers. The broken watch was in her hand without her remembering picking it up. It didn't tick. The SUV door opened. A man stepped out wearing a smile he hadn't earned. He had contractor hair and military boots. A mix that tells you the worst parts of both worlds have agreed on a price. Ms. Stone, he said. His voice was local. Not foreign threat, homegrown. Walk with me. No, he tilted his head. I have a key to your sister's door. Want to test it? Fear doesn't taste like fear when you've trained it to be a tool. It tastes like battery acid and roses. Maya swallowed it. They walked. The lot's dust lifted and settled. Her shoes wore it like old friends. He kept his hands in his pockets. That little drive can ruin good men, he said. Bad men ruin themselves, she said. We're all useful. Some of us are more expensive. They stopped by the SUV's quarter panel. He smiled. Ethan Parr, he said as if she cared. I tried politeness already. Didn't quite work. You shot a man who drew maps for you, she said. He missed his calls, Ethan said. Maps age. People do too. She wanted to break his watch, if he wore one. He didn't. Men like him check time on other people's faces. A second SUV turned the corner and drifted slow. Inside, someone filmed. Insurance. Maya felt the wallet against her ribs. The cheap leather suddenly heavy from meaning. She pictured her niece's blue backpack. She pictured the call to prayer she'd told the captain to use as cover. Her phone buzzed. Halden, where are you? He asked. His voice was stretched wire. Buying time. You can't buy that. Only steal it. You told me ghosts hate waste, she said. They also hate lies, a sound behind her. A second set of footsteps. Boots that remembered parade squares. Colonel Voss came into view. She knew him only from whispers that smell like old rugs. He was the kind of officer who never dirtied his sleeves but always found a way to earn ribbons. Miss Stone, he said, polite like poison. We're in a bind. You have something that does not belong to you. It belonged to Kite, she said. And to the men who went where your pen told them to. Voss flicked a glance at Ethan. Power likes mirrors. Halden's voice in her ear cut through the heat. Don't give them anything, he said. Counterintelligence is inbound. Location? She didn't answer. Not out loud. She raised the broken watch level with her eyes. Voss frowned at it like a man who can't stand the honest. Still broken? He asked. It remembers, she said. We all do. A siren far away. The kind that takes 20 minutes to arrive and 5 seconds to regret. Ethan stepped closer. Let me ease your day, he said. We take the drive. You forget Halden. You get a deposit that makes your empty wallet a joke. He said it like mercy. It smelled like landfill. Maya looked him full in the face. You ever stood on a rooftop holding someone else's breath in your hands while men below counted to 0? He blinked. She took a breath that couldn't sit still. Meet me tonight, she said. Midnight. Carson airstrip. You'll have your show. Bring whoever thinks they want it most. Ethan smiled like a man who thinks he invented teeth. Midnight, he said. Voss turned away, already on a call. Stage it, he murmured. Lights, long lenses. Get the general, too. He hung up with a small practice sigh. See you tonight, Mrs. Stone. The SUVs drifted off, polishing the air with dust. Halden was still on the line. You can run, he said. You can still run. Not my knees, sir. I'll be there, he said. You won't like how, but I'll be there. Bring the captain, she said. Bring a hymn. What kind? The kind rotors sing. She ended the call. She looked down at the broken watch. She lifted the backplate again. Behind the paper was one thing more. A sliver of metal that wasn't part of the watch at all. A transmitter the size of a thumbnail, dead for years, waiting for a battery. She slid a coin from the empty wallet. She slid it in. A red dot woke like an eye. Midnight would have witnesses. She went home on foot. The road was dust. The dust was history. Her knee didn't argue anymore. It was too busy remembering. At the airstrip, the wind would have opinions. So would the men. The broken watch didn't tick. At 11:59, headlights painted the old tarmac white, and a soldier she almost trusted got out of the wrong car in handcuffs. General Halden stood between two men with badges that glow in meetings but dull in courtrooms. His hands were tied in plastic that bites. His eyes found Maya's and said, "Stay awake." Ethan stepped out of a SUV lit like a stage. He wore night the way some men wear silk. Colonel Voss followed with a clipboard he didn't need but liked holding. Floodlights rose. The old hangar threw back their glare like a mirror that hates faces. "Mrs. Stone," Voss said, "this is a formal recovery under title none of your business. Hand over the drive and we will stop hurting your history." "What happens to the general?" she asked. "He retires," Voss said. The word came out colder than the air. Halden smiled without teeth. "I told you you wouldn't like how I'd be here." Maya placed her empty wallet on the hood of a flatbed truck. It looked small. It looked poor. It looked like bait. Ethan nodded. "Good." He motioned a man forward. Gloves. A lamp clipped to his shirt. He opened the wallet and found a grocery receipt, a bus card, a coin, and no drive. He looked up. Maya lifted the broken watch. "It was never in the wallet," she said. "Why would I keep a secret where it expects to be found?" Voss's jaw flexed. "Cute. True." Behind them, a wind learned to speak. It said the field was dry. It said the sage nearby missed rain. It said rotors were coming. Ethan's men scanned the sky. Nothing yet. Just a line of stars that might have been drones if you wanted them to be. "Play your last card," Ethan said. "You brought a transmitter." "I smell it, but signals get lonely when jammed." Maya felt the coin in the watchback warm against her skin. He was right. The jamming hummed in her molars. She needed noise. Real noise, not electronic. Something old. She took a deep breath and whistled the call every new guy learns on the first awful night in the field. A rising fall. 3 notes. Meaning, down. Now. The captain stepped out from under the flatbed where he'd been lying in oil and patience. He pulled Halden sideways so the cuffs caught on the bumper and snapped. "Old steel beats plastic if you know angles," Voss shouted. Ethan turned. Maya moved. She threw the broken watch not at them but over their heads. A reflex fires when a thing flies at your face. Men flinched. Lights tracked the watch like it was important. It was important. The coin inside scraped metal. The sliver transmitter sparked as it hit the floodlight frame and grounded. For 1 second, the jammer hiccuped. 1 second was breath enough. Rotors wrote scripture across the field. The hymn she had requested. 2 birds, dark as pronouns, came low without apology. Ethan reached for his inside pocket. Maya stepped in and took his wrist and turned it the way Bone hates. His gun stayed where it was. His mouth learned another shape. Voss raised his clipboard as if it could make him taller. "Stand down," he shouted to everyone and no one. The captain disarmed the nearest guard with a move that looked like Grace losing patience. Halden grabbed a shoulder and a conscience and dragged both toward the ground. The birds hovered and exhaled ropes. Men in harness slid. Not cowboys. Not mercenaries. Soldiers, quiet and awake. Maya reached for the flatbed wheel well, found what the rust kept, and pulled free a flare tube taped there by men who used to fly out of this place when its paint wasn't sad. She cracked it. Red ate the dark. The jammer died like an old lie. Her voice carried without a mic. "Every camera rolling," she said. "Look at the colonel and the contractor. Look at their hands. They're clean. Ask them why." A dozen phone lenses blinked from the perimeter where curious locals were actually people Halden had called the minute she said airstrip. They were the poor kind of press who tell the truth because no one pays them enough to lie well. Voss lowered his clipboard as if it had started to weigh what it should. He took a single step forward like a man considering a door he can't afford. "Mrs. Stone," he said, "you don't understand how this works." "I do," she said. "Men like you make rooms cold and language warmer than facts." Ethan tore his wrist free and went small in his eyes. He looked for the lens that would forgive him. None did. Sirens came now. The real kind. Too late and right on time. Halden stood straight, cuffs at his feet. He looked around and chose not to smile. "You can still run," he told Voss. Voss didn't. He did the math and saw the answer everyone else already had. The captain handed Maya the broken watch. The glass had cracked on impact. The face was a web. The second hand tried once, twice, and stuck again. Some wounds keep their hours. She closed her fingers over it. It was warm from the flare. It was heavy with memory. "We have what we need," Halden said to the rotors, to the lenses, to the night. Ethan finally spoke like a man who understands that sound can't fix him. "This isn't over." Maya nodded. "Good, neither am I." By dawn, papers had names they'd been waiting to print. Budgets found sunlight. A quiet team would go home because a mission got rewritten with truth. Maya walked the edge of the airstrip where grass tried and failed. Dust lifted at her ankles. The road beyond the fence ran east to a city where her sister would wake to a knock and 2 badges and the word safe. The empty wallet in her pocket felt less like a wound. It felt like a space something honest could fill. Halden stepped up beside her. "Come back in," he said. "To uniforms? To work that keeps kids with blue backpacks laughing after school." She watched the sun haul itself over the hangar roofs. She turned the broken watch in her hand. It wouldn't tick. Maybe it never would. "Okay," she said. "But I want to train the ones who think they don't need training." Halden nodded. "They're the hungriest students." They walked toward the birds. The wind pushed dust into small swirls like the world practicing how to disappear without leaving. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. A text with 1 sentence and no punctuation. We weren't the only ones. She put the broken watch in her pocket and tightened her ring. A new road waited. It was dusty. She started anyway.